Rants on gender politics. Rants on gender politics. Sam Keen, in his book called Fire in the Belly, Thoughts on Being a Man, talked to a friend of his once who said, I found out two things in this world, my friend. First, you got to figure out where you're going in life, and then you got to figure out who you're going to take along with you. And if you get these two questions in the wrong order, life's going to be fucked up. We are lonely in our society. We live in a touch-starved world where we are in cubicles 9 to 5, and we come home and we sit, and instead of being at the same table and sharing dinner, or if we do, it's talking about nothing. We're sitting around the television staring at messages of what society wants us to be, which isn't even what society wants. It's what the marketing people of society think that we should be. And the marketing people say that if we have no person to call our other half, our better half, that we are half and we are empty if we are alone. That we are not enough if we are alone. So we grab on desperately, starting at the age of 4, for somebody else to play with us on the playground. Because one is not enough. And we grab desperately onto anybody who will say, I like you. Because we don't want to be alone, because we need touch. As the social monkeys that we are, we need people who will pick the gnats out of our hair. In our modern societal equivalent of it. And so we look for our perfect monkey partners. And we're told in our current society that we're looking for our perfect one. Our current notions of romance come from 14th century court, the medieval courts where people were wooing each other with flowers and fans from across the room while married to other people. Courtly romance, this idea that we have to find somebody who not only fulfills us sexually, but also fulfills us emotionally, physically, will have children with us, will be there for when we grow old, and will laugh at the same jokes too, that will share our hobbies. How do you find this one perfect person, this elusive thing? Joseph O'Donoghue, in a book called Anam Cara, which means soulmate, or soul partner, or sacred love, depending on the interpretation in Gaelic, made a amazing rant that was that back in the sands of time, our one perfect love did exist and does exist, and their sand lay next to ours in the brimming, bubbling history of pre-humanity. But I look down from an airplane, because I fly all over the world, and I look down at Ohio, for example, and I look down and every square of farmland is not touching one other fence. It's touching 2, 3, 12, 20 other lives. So who says that somebody can't be our perfect soccer or pool mate or whatever, and have somebody else who's our perfect romantic partner, somebody else who's our sexual partner, and somebody else who's our best friend, who 80 years from now, when we're both old and gray and missing our teeth and sitting in a nursing home, is still going to laugh at the same jokes with us. So you take that as ingredient 1, right? That we're told that we have to find a perfect partner, that we have to find someone. And then we look at our next piece that we get from media, which is that opposites attract. For every yin, there's a yang, right? For every butch, there's a femme. For every man, there's a woman. For every cheerleader, there's a football star. For every geek girl in glasses, there's some Casanova with his computer who's going to sweep you off your feet. So if we have to have an equal balance for whatever it is, the question is, what do we look for in media? And media says that to win the girl, we must be the perfect man. What is the perfect man? The perfect man is supposed to be a warrior, is supposed to be a breadwinner, is supposed to be intelligent, but at the same time have that right amount of bravado. He's supposed to be able to have enough ticks on the foot of on the headboard of the bed. He's supposed to be a Casanova, and yet at the same time, in post-feminist culture, is supposed to be a little bit caring and sensitive and want to be all those beautiful things. And what's the perfect woman supposed to be? Shy and demure and always be a little bit on the passive side. But at the same time, we're told that the bitch goddesses are wanted too. We're given conflicted messages about what it's meant to be a woman, what it's meant to be a man, and yet we're supposed to strive for perfection and be a good boy, a strong boy, a handsome boy. We're supposed to be a sweet girl, a nice girl, a pretty girl. How are you supposed to be perfect? When each of us as human beings is different, how can we only have two categories of gender? And then you add to it sexuality, and then you add to it gender identification, then you have gender, biologically assigned gender, and then you add to the entire thing the fact that it's all determined by XY or XX or XXY chromosomes. Is biology what determines us? Is just because I'm half Basque and half Irish, does that mean that I'm supposed to be oppressed and blow up things a lot? Or do we actually get to choose where we're going? Is everything laid out by our predetermined karma and our dharma? Or is that just a good idea to start from? So I don't know if that's really gender ranting per se, but I don't know. It's something I want people to chew on.